Okay, it is 9 o'clock, so we will go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone for participating in today's SCORE sponsored workshop. The title is Use YouTube to Grow Your Business, and it's presented by Grow with Google and Demming Bass. Just a few quick housekeeping items before we get started. Everyone is muted. To ask a question, please use your chat or Q&A, and we will monitor those questions and break in at certain points during the presentation to address those. Everyone will receive the slide presentation and the workshop recording at the conclusion of the workshop, probably within 2 hours or so of the conclusion. You will also receive a questionnaire, and we appreciate you taking a few minutes to complete that. This information will help us to get better. And if you have any suggestions on workshop content, please feel free to add that in the survey. Okay, my name is Lori Stein, and I am a SCORE volunteer. And just real quickly, just for those of you who are not familiar, SCORE is a nonprofit and 100% volunteer-based organization. We are a resource partner for the SBA. Our two main focuses are one-on-one mentoring and these educational workshops. The one-on-one mentoring and majority of our workshops are totally free to you. So if you have a desire for a mentor just with any questions, concerns, with your small business, please feel free to reach out. Our website is piedmontscore.org. And at the end of the presentation, I will go into a little bit more detail. And again, you will receive this presentation at the end of the workshop. Okay, now I'd like to just introduce Demming Bass. He is with Grow with Google. He has been a Grow with Google partner since 2017. After an award-winning career as a Chamber of Commerce executive in North Carolina and Georgia, he led Constant Contact's marketing efforts across 6 states in the Southeast. To date, he's trained over 100,000 small businesses, nonprofits, and chambers on how to be better marketers. And if you've participated in any of our other series with Grow with Google, you know that he is an outstanding presenter, and you will gain a lot from this workshop today. So Demming, without further ado, I will turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you, Lori, and good morning, everybody. And I am excited to be with you guys here today. This really is a great webinar. It's a lot of fun, too. I love doing the YouTube and talking about video and how to create really great video for your company or your nonprofit, which is one of the biggest things that holds us back. But one of the things that I like to jump in immediately and just talk about, sort of set the stage, is to think about why you should be on YouTube, why you might want to think about being on YouTube. And the reason is it's where everybody goes to watch video these days. Well, I guess not everybody, but a lot of people. You can see that there's about 2 billion monthly logged in users. A lot of people don't know this, or you may have heard this, but YouTube, and this is important for you to understand, YouTube is the world's 2nd largest search engine. It's just behind Google. Google owns YouTube. So really, when you think about YouTube, a lot of people think of it as sort of like a social media or just another channel. But all it is, it's a search engine for video. Okay, so just like you would use search engine optimization techniques on your website so that you show up higher in the organic search results when somebody's searching for you, you're basically doing the same thing on YouTube, but now you're providing video content for them. So the reason you need to be on YouTube is, just think about your own life experience. I always say that too. Don't listen to Demming or Google. Think about the past couple of weeks, how many times you've been on YouTube, or how many times, if you're like me, I have twin daughters that are 13, how many times are you sitting around maybe watching TV, but everybody has their laptop or their tablet out, or they're on their phones, and what are they doing? Most of the time they're watching different video on YouTube. So that's why it's important for your business and your nonprofit to be on YouTube. It's where people watch. It's also where people go to discover and to learn more about products and services before they actually go and buy. About 70% of YouTube users watch YouTube to help them make that purchasing decision. And again, think back to your own life experience. How many times have you gone to YouTube to do research on something, some sort of topic or some sort of product or some sort of service? I know that I do this a lot, especially if it's a big ticket item, right? If you're thinking about buying a car or something like that, a lot of times you'll go to YouTube to discover that. I'm also, when I travel, I go to YouTube, I try to watch videos about places that I'm going to go. So it's where people are going to discover and learn about exactly your product and service, whatever it is. And then one thing that really sets YouTube apart, maybe from some of the other marketing that you do, is that YouTube is where people go to engage. And what I mean by that is, again, a lot of people don't think about this, but when you go to YouTube, you get to choose the videos that you want to watch, right? You get to choose. And so just like a channel on your TV, you get to pick a channel, you get to pick the video. And when you choose to watch that video versus skipping it or skipping the ad, we're going to talk about that, then guess what? You are more engaged. You're going to pay attention to that because you were able to make that decision to watch it. Okay. So that means if you're creating really good content, really good videos, or really good ads, and people are choosing to watch it, they are way more likely to engage with your brand and with your company. So one thing that I want to do as we get started, and now I start turning into the how-to, is I want you to think about, these are 4 different goals, sort of overall goals that you can have or you can set for your channel. Which we'll talk about that in a second, the home of your videos. And also, as you're creating each video, or maybe a series of videos, this could be the goal. Each one of these could be a goal for that video. But for right now, as you think about the channel, the home where you're going to put all your videos, I want you to pick one of these and I want you to write it down and be thinking about this as you move forward. So you could have a channel for your business that's all about building awareness of your company or your nonprofit. It could be they watch the video and now it's going to influence their consideration. Now they're interested in finding out more, learning about more, going to your website, signing up for a consultation. Or it could be simply driving online sales. They watch a video, they're ready to buy. Or they watch a video, now they're ready to go to your location. Or it could be, you could have a channel, or you could create a series of videos that are all about creating great customer loyalty that's designed to get those viewers to come back again and again and again. But for right now, as we get started, write down one of these goals that you kind of want to focus on, and keep that in mind as I walk you through the rest of the presentation. So here's what we're going to cover today here in the next hour. I'm going to show you how you can create a home, or what's called a channel, for your business or your nonprofit on YouTube. I'm going to show you really the big piece that holds a lot of us back is we're worried, or we're not Steven Spielberg. We're scared about creating a video and putting it out there. So I'm going to show you how you can create great videos that are going to help you achieve whatever your goals are for your business or nonprofit. We'll talk about how you can organize your channel to then attract the most viewers. We'll talk about how you can promote your business with video and video ads, and I'll give you a sort of introduction into that. And then finally, we'll talk a little bit about how you can stream video with YouTube Live and give you some ideas of why you might want to do that. And then finally, make sure that you stick around, because at the end, I do have a link for free Google matching ad credit as a way to say thank you. And most importantly, I've got some really cool resources from Google that are focused on YouTube, tips like production tips, things like that, that will hopefully make you the next Steven Spielberg. So let's jump right in and talk about, how do you even get started? For those of you who are brand new to this, you don't know, how do you create a home or a channel for your business on YouTube? Well, it all starts with going to YouTube, right? So you would go to youtube.com. But the one thing that you always need to remember, as with any of Google's products, is that you need to sign in with your Google account. So you need to be signed in with your Google account first. What that means is if you have a Gmail email address, that's your Google account, that's your username. If you have a workspace email, that's your username, and then you have a password associated with it. If you don't have a Google account, you can always create one for free by just going to google.com, look for the sign in button at the top right, and then when it asks you to put in your information, you'll see a link that says create an account. okay? And you can create one for free. But the reason that's important is that when you're signed in with your Google account, that's how Google knows that you are the one that's controlling and managing and owning that particular channel. So you go to youtube.com, come up here to the sign in button, you'll sign in with your Google account. When you click on that, you're going to see a drop down menu here that comes up, and you're going to see this option that says create a channel. Okay. When you click create a channel, you're going to have this option over here and choose how you want to create a channel. Do you want to use your name or a custom name? We recommend that you choose a custom name. Some of you may already have YouTube channels. You may have personal videos up there, but we really want you to create, it's best to create a separate channel for your particular business. I'm sure you have amazing videos of your kids and your dogs and your cats, but nobody wants to see that on your business channel. So you're going to want to create that custom name, and the name of your channel should be the name of your business that people will recognize. Okay. Next, once you have the name of the business up there for your channel, the next thing you're going to be asked to do is to upload a profile picture. And the key here is make sure that it best represents your business channel. So you'll be able to simply upload an image here. Now, for most of you guys, you are going to probably want to just use your logo. For most businesses, nonprofits, it's going to be the logo. In some cases, if you're like a public personality, it might be an image of you. You know, sometimes you have like real estate folks or speakers or consultants. It might be a picture of you. Or if you're known for one particular product, it could be an image there. But I would recommend for most of you guys, this image right here is going to be your logo. And remember, that image is what's going to always be shown while people are watching your videos. That logo is always going to be up there and on your channel. Next, you're going to want to write a description. Okay. Now, what's important here, and again, you'll hear me coming back to this again and again, just because it is so important. Remember, don't try to overthink this or don't try to overcomplicate it. All YouTube is a search engine for video, right? So what that means is, just like with your website or the search page, you want to be as descriptive as you can by going in, and don't get too creative, don't get too clever, but think about how people would be searching. What are the questions that they're asking as it relates to your product and service, and put those keywords throughout your description. But get right to the point and tell people what you do on the channel, how it's going to benefit them, the value that you're going to bring, why they would want to come back, what they're going to learn, what you're going to share. And a lot of times I like finishing or starting with the call to action. And I'll show you a good example in a second. But don't skip over this part because this is why, if you listen to and apply what I'm going to teach here in the next few minutes, this is what's going to make your channel stand apart from your competitors. Because a lot of folks will go in and start and they sort of halfway do stuff and they don't even spend a lot of time on the description. But if you spend a good amount of time on the description, write a strong description, you are going to be more likely to show up. And then go in and definitely link to your website. Now, people are going to be able to click your videos, go directly to your website, and all of your social media links. So don't just skip over this and tell yourself you're going to come back to it, because a lot of times you don't. Go ahead and knock this out. And that's going to create a lot more promotion and interactivity with your website and all your social media channels. Then it's going to be time to go in and actually edit and customize and create how you want your channel to look. So I'm going to cover a couple of the different highlights of the areas that you want to focus in on. Number one, and we'll cover this in a little bit more, but always up in the top right, you'll have the little camera icon with the plus. This is where you're always going to be able to upload your videos or go live, which we'll talk about that in a second. This big, long, rectangular area back here is the channel art. This is where you can go in and add images of your products and services. Make sure your colors match your branding. To edit any of these, you'll always, of course, click on the little edit icon, which is the little pencil. But this is where you want to go in back here and add your images of your product and services. This is that profile picture that we already talked about. And then you're going to be able to go in and add different sections and help organize your videos. And we're going to talk some more about that in just a little bit. But if you're like me, I love to see an example. I'm like, Demming, this is great, but I want to see one that looks really good. So here's an example of what a channel looks like when it's been created. So let's walk through this real quickly. So you'll see up here, you've got the company is Divas Can Cook. This is that channel art that we talked about. You know, she's done a really good job, even if we didn't have any copy on the page, images of really good looking food, right? So food recipes, nice use of the logo. If you are going to be consistent in posting videos, you'll see they have a new video that they shoot every single day, or they add every Thursday, not every day. So that's definitely a good idea to post and get word out on that. You'll see here now her profile picture is her, because she's sort of the brand. Again, most of you, it'll be a logo. Down here, this is what we call the channel trailer. So this may be, if this is the first time and you're getting your channel up and running, your very first video may be the channel trailer. And basically, this is just like a movie trailer. Like when we go to the movies, we have the trailers of the upcoming movies, and they're short. They're like 2 to 3 minutes. They're teasers. They're there to sort of make you want to go and watch those movies. Exactly what this is. That's the purpose of the trailer, is to give people a taste and tease of what they will be able to learn, or what they're gonna, what's the value, what are they gonna get out of it, and get a sense of what your channel is all about. So this is probably going to be your first video that you want to shoot. And then over here, this is that description of the channel. Okay. Now, I want to share this with you because I do think, you know, if you're also like a lot of people, you're like, well, Demming, I'm not a copywriter. I don't know what to say. Well, this is a really good template for you to follow that's going to help make it easier for your description. So let me explain. I like how she opens up with the call to action. So you can do that. Subscribe here, right? Because the point is we want to get as many subscribers as possible, so they're seeing our messages. So subscribe here, put in the link, and then look at this and follow this as a template. She says, welcome to Divas Can Cook. On my channel, you'll find lots of from scratch cooking inspired by my Southern upbringing. Okay. Now that's a great template. You can simply go, welcome to name of your channel. On my channel, you will find, and then list, what are they going to find? What are they going to learn? What's the value of your channel? Then she goes on to say, my goal is to inspire you to get into the kitchen and discover just how fun, easy, and approachable Southern cooking can be. Hit that subscribe button and come join me. Okay, so again, that's a good template. My goal is to inspire you to, and then tell people what it is. And then she finishes with that call to action. A lot of good personality in here. You can see it's not a lot of words. It's not overthought. It's not complicated. Gets right to the point. But she also uses some really good words in here that people might be searching for, right? Southern cooking, from scratch cooking. So a lot of, you know, a good use of some of the words. So this is going to be a good template, I think, for you guys to follow if you're not big into copywriting and you want something really solid. All right. So now you've got your channel up and running. Now, let's talk about probably the biggest hurdle, that biggest obstacle that keeps people from creating a channel and then putting videos. Let's talk about how to create really great videos that are going to help you be successful and achieve whatever your goals are. Before I show you how to do that, I do think it's important for us to pause for just a second and think about how lucky we are as businesses and nonprofits, especially if you're small, a really small business. You have limited time, limited resources, limited money. But think about, man, if you wanted to create videos and share with your customers or the public 10, 15, 20 years ago, you would have had to have spent tens of thousands of dollars on those videos. Now, with our smartphones and with a couple of apps and a friend holding it, or even a stand and a ring light, you can create really good, high quality videos. All right. Now, here's the thing I want you to understand. A couple things. Number one, if you're just getting started with this, here's a great quote from one of my favorite authors. His name is John Acuff. And he says, don't ever compare your beginning to someone else's middle. Okay, write that down. Don't ever compare your beginning with someone else's middle. All right. If you're just getting started in this YouTube, if you're just getting started in video, don't look at your video and be thinking about what you're going to post and try to compare it to Disney or somebody that's been doing this for years and years and years, and they have billions of dollars and experts, right? Just get started. Okay. And that leads me to the second point, which is, and you may have heard this phrase, don't ever let perfect become enemy to good enough. Don't let perfect or perfection become the enemy of good enough. And so what that means is don't keep waiting and starting, but never posting the video because it's just not perfect. It's just not everything I want it to be. It's not great. If you have that mindset, and a lot of us do, you may have even done this with your business plans. This is why it's so important to get a mentor at SCORE, one of the greatest resources out there to get them to push you. You can't just be thinking about it all the time. You need to take action to do it or nothing's going to happen, okay? And the reality is you can create a really good video. It doesn't have to be perfect, really good, high quality video. And that's the key, is you've got to take action. So now let me share with you some really good tips that if you follow these tips, you are going to have a really good video. All right. So, and here's the other thing. Don't, again, overthink it. Don't beat yourself up. Have fun with this. This is like you get to pretend to be the Steven Spielberg of the world, right? You get to go out there and you get to be the director. You get to be the producer. You get to be the actor if you want to, the cinematographer, the editor. You get to do it all. So as you think about that first video or maybe your next video, again, keep it simple. This is all about just like a movie, just like a TV show, just like a commercial. What is the story that you want to tell? Okay. And every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So what's going to be the beginning of your story, the beginning of your video, what's going to be the middle, and what's going to be the end? And I'll talk about that in a second. Your beginning always wants to open up with the problem that only your product and service can solve. The middle needs to be offering value or solutions to that problem. And then the end needs to be a call to action, getting them to take action and do something, okay? Next thing is who should star in the video. Is it going to be you? Is it going to be one of your employees? Is it going to be your customers talking about the business or the nonprofit? Then how can you best capture the sights and sounds of your video? Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about that. And then finally, once you've shot everything, what is actually the best way to edit the video? A lot of times people don't think about this. They just jump right in and start shooting video. They don't even think about editing it. And I'll tell you, if you do have money set aside for your video, this is where you'd want to spend it, okay? Because most of you are not editing gurus. In fact, you're probably not gurus or marketing experts in any of these areas, but that's okay. But down here, this is where you don't want to spend your time like trying to figure out editing while you should be out working on your business and getting sales and getting customers. Oftentimes you can find somebody really affordable that can jump in, edit it really quick, add music, add graphics, fix the lighting, make it look amazing. So if you are going to spend money, this is probably the area that you would want to spend it. The rest you can do it completely yourself. Now, the secret to a great video is it's all in the script. It's all just like the reason a movie is good or bad or a TV show, it's going to be the screenwriting. It's going to be the script. Okay. So just like a TV show, just like a movie, they don't go in, the actors don't go in and just wing it. This is an improv. There is a script that they follow. So I want you, every video you shoot should have a script. Okay. And again, it should be very clear. It should be very concise and get right to the point. You really want to make a strong impression in the first 5 to 15 seconds. So we talked about the beginning, the opening, the beginning of the story. I really think you should create a strong impression faster than that. I'd say 3 to 8 seconds. And the reason why is, again, think about when you're on YouTube, you're shown videos and you make up your mind really quick as to whether or not you want to skip and go to something else. So you don't want to waste. You want to immediately jump in and talk about that number one problem or that number one pain point that your customers are facing as it relates to your product or service. or maybe it's that number one want or desire or need that only you can solve. Okay, so keep that in mind, jump right into it, and don't start your video with, hey guys, Demming here. Listen, today we're going to talk about, no, don't do that, because you've already lost them. That's boring. You want to jump right in and take that problem and turn it into a question. Okay, so jump right in and say, do you ever struggle with, does X, Y, and Z keep you up at night? Are you worried about, are you concerned about, jump right in, put it in the form of a question. And what that does, that creates the hook, right? Think about it. People are on YouTube because they're searching for something. They're trying to find the answer to something. So if they're searching for a solution to the problem that they have, or they're trying to learn something, or they're trying to identify that want, desire, need that they're trying to get that itched. If you jump in, if they search for your product or service and you jump in right away and you immediately tell them, hey, are you struggling with this? They immediately in their head subconsciously are saying, yeah, I'm struggling with that. And before you even get to you, they're sitting there already thinking, are you saying that you can solve that for me? I want to see how, right? Now you've got them hooked. Now they're not going to skip. Now they're going to watch and they want to find out the solution. So then you steer that conversation by then walking them through how you will solve that problem, or how you will help with that want, desire, need. And then always finish with a really strong call to action or some sort of offer, like go to our website today or subscribe down below to get 25% off your next blah, 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 right? But if you tell them, you always want to tell them what you want them to do. If you don't tell them, if you just leave them hanging, they're not going to do it. Okay, so remember, beginning, middle, end. Begin, immediately launch in with the problem, talk about the solution, finish with that call to action. And also going back to this too, remember it's a script, right? So you want to, you don't have to, memorize it word for word, but you do want to rehearse it. I would go through it 5 or 6 times just on your own, getting used to the words and the verbiage. And then I would shoot 3 or 4 times and then watch it and edit, watch it, edit, or not edit, but watch it and see if that works. And what happens is when you become familiar with it, when you've sort of gone through it at that point, maybe about 10 times, by the time you actually get to that final shoot, that's going to be a good one. You know what you're saying. So it's kind of like, what's the word I'm thinking about? It's like the brain memory function, but that's not the right word. It's too early. Need more coffee. But it's where it's a muscle memory. You're not going to come across looking like you're trying to think about what you're going to say. It's going to come out more naturally and it's going to flow more naturally. Next, some tips for shooting your video: space, lighting, and sound. Space, and most of you guys know this, especially coming out of COVID and through COVID, where we've been on Zoom so much. Always make sure you're paying attention to what's behind you and make sure that it is free of any sort of clutter. Anytime you have anything behind you, if you have too much going on, guess what people do? They're looking past you and they're trying to figure out how you live your life. If you have books back there, they're like, I wonder what he reads. Or if it's a painting, you're like, I wonder what that painting is. Or, anything like that. And you don't want to distract from your message. So keep it free of clutter. If you can, obviously there are filters nowadays, so you can add a logo. Or if you've got a really cool workplace, you can show that in the background as well. Lighting, don't overthink this either. There's a lot of times people think I got to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. You don't. The best lighting ever is always going to be natural light. And what you want to do is you want to face the source of that natural light. And then as you're shooting it, look for shadows, make sure it's not too dark, it's not too grainy, it's just nice, crisp, and clear. If you do need a light, one of the recommendations I would make, and you can Google this, would be, they're called ring lights, because it looks like a ring, it's circular. You can put that behind your computer or kind of off to the side, and that does provide some really good, easy and sort of cheap and affordable lighting. And then finally with sound, just as you're going through and you're recording it and you're playing it back, listen, make sure that you come across, you're not mumbled, you're loud enough, make sure there isn't too much of an echo in some cases. If you want it to sound really professional, you can always use a microphone. And again, I've got a resource at the end that we'll share with you that you can go to and find out like different ideas for mics and production and editing and apps and all that. But the reality is for most of us, I mean, again, it doesn't need to be perfect. People aren't expecting perfection on YouTube all the time, unless you are Disney, right? But even there, a lot of it is sort of, it's not studio, it's not in a studio, it's real world stuff. So even right now, I have a ton of different mics and everything, but I'm just speaking into the computer and it sounds just fine. But the thing that's going to make you sound the best is this last part, is just to speak confidently about what you want to share. Now, how do you do that? Well, it goes back to the script. When you've put some thought into it, you've written it out, you have a really clear beginning, middle, and end. You've rehearsed it, you've said it a bunch of times. By the time you get to the end, you are going to be speaking confidently and it's going to come across very clear. So that's the best tip that I would share with you there, speaking confidently and coming across, rather than winging it with a bunch of ums, ahs, trying to think about what you're going to say, or even that, trying too hard to think about what you're going to say. All right. So when you do and apply everything I just shared with you, you are going to have a great video. Okay. So don't worry about it. Now it's going to be time to publish it, but also how can you organize your channel to attract the most viewers? So let's go back to that, because basically they're going to, your customers are going to, or prospects are going to find your video in one of two ways. Number one, through your own marketing that we'll talk about in a second as you're pushing it out. And then if people are just doing a search on YouTube looking, they may be offered up your video, right? And so they're going to watch. So how do you capture those folks and get them to subscribe to your channel and get them to watch more of your videos? Well, it comes back to this really well organized channel. It comes back with that really good description, a really good trailer. And then down here, the way to grow your audience, or especially people that didn't know you before, is by grouping, as you put out videos, to group your videos into playlists. Okay. And playlists are just like the music playlists you used to make, or you probably still do, mixtapes and all that stuff back in the day, child of the 80s. But now, of course, you can do it on iTunes or whatever. But you would basically want to group your videos by your products or by your particular services, because if they see one, so for example, here it's the best classic Southern recipes. Well, if I was looking for great Southern recipes and I found the fried chicken one, right? Then it'll have, subscribe below or coming up next, and it'll be another Southern related. So then it'll be, oh, sweet potato pound cake. So if you're interested in Southern food, right, and you find one, you're going to want to know all the other great Southern food that you want to be able to cook as well. So you want to group them in playlists. So now let's get into a little bit of the technical and the nitty gritty and show you how easy it is so that you're not intimidated. But once you shoot that video and you've edited it, now how do you get it up on YouTube? And it's very simple. You go back to YouTube, go back into your studio, and up here in the top right, remember I mentioned this earlier, the little camera icon with the plus, you'll see a little button that says create. You'll click create, and this pop-up box will come up and you'll be able to select. You can literally drag, if the video is on your computer, you can drag and drop it in there. And then once it's loaded there, now this is important. Then you want to add details. And again, a lot of people skip through this. They post the video, they don't put a lot of thought in this. But again, remember what YouTube is. It is just a search engine for video. So the more details you put in here, the more likely your channel is going to show up. So up here at the top, the first thing that you'll be asked to put in is going to be the title of the video. The key here is, number one, how-tos are always great titles, because that's what people are looking for most of the time. and then put in what it is that you're going to talk about, but think about the words people might use if they're searching for that particular product or service. Then again, spend some time here with the description, again, putting in the words that people might search for. So here we have how to make a 3-tier wedding cake. And then, here we have how to make a 3-tier wedding cake in less than 3 hours. The cake in this video uses a basic buttercream frosting. Learn how to make easy icing roses or rosettes, icing leaves, and a beautiful smooth finish, right? So you can see they put in some of the words people might search for, right? 3-tier wedding cake, obviously. And within a short amount of time, buttercream frosting, roses, rosettes, all that. So that's a good use, a good description. You will, YouTube is automatically going to pull 3 different thumbnails from your video, but if you want to, if you don't like any of these as examples, and the thumbnails are basically the images that people are going to see, like up here, you can always upload your own thumbnail. Then we already talked about playlists. So you want to go in and pick what is the playlist you want your video to go under. And then you'll have some questions about the audience down here, whether or not the video is made for kids or not. If it's for kids, there's a couple more questions that you'll want to go through, and YouTube is just there trying to protect kids from some weird, weird people out there. Next, you don't have to do this, but I would recommend it. You can add video elements. And again, all this is free. By the way, sometimes I never even think about saying that, but just so y'all know, all this is free. You don't need to pay to create a YouTube channel. You don't need to pay to create videos. You don't have to pay any of that for people to watch your videos. All absolutely free. But here, this is an end screen. If you want to add an end screen, basically what this is, and you've seen this before, this is where as the video is being played, some words will pop up in the top corner, and it'll say, coming up next, and it'll have the name of the next video, or subscribe down below. So it'll be the words that you're adding there. And then cards, similar to that, this is where you can have polls or surveys or questions. Again, that pops up as the video is being played. Both of these are going to help you create more engagement and interaction. And also, the other thing to keep in mind with these is your videos would have to be at least 25 seconds long, because that's when the end screen and the cards start showing up, is when there's 25 seconds left in a video. Don't have to do this, but this would be something good that'll help you stand out, and again, help get you more engagement. Then you're going to be asked, okay, what is the visibility? So you got it, you're ready to go. Do you want to save it? Do you want to publish it? There are 3 options here. Again, since we're doing this for business and nonprofits, most all of us, you're going to want to check off public. When it's public, that means everybody's going to be able to see it. It's on YouTube. People can search and find it. Unlisted means that anyone with the video link can see your video, but it's not going to show up in search. And then finally, private, only you and people you choose can see your video. Okay, so you can just choose a handful of people to watch it. Then you're going to schedule your video. And then once you do that, by the way, over here, you're going to see what it looks like. Once you do that, your video is now published. But here's the thing, you're not done yet, okay? You want to make sure that you share a link with all of your social media, and you don't want to just publish it and then forget about it. You always want to think about your channel now as sort of a hub of great content, and you want to tell the world about every single video that you put out there, right? Because think about it, don't waste your time, sitting in on this webinar, learning about how to do this, thinking through what you want to shoot, writing a script, rehearsing, shooting, editing, creating a channel, adding a description, doing all of that, and then you just post something and you don't tell anybody about it, right? You want to tell everybody, you want to get people to go watch it. So take that content and include it in your emails that go out to your customers, include it on your social media channels. Go to your website. You can add it to your website. Video, and Google loves video on websites as well. That'll help you with SEO. And then if you have blogs or posts there, you can add that. But this is going to be great bits of content and just push it out in all those ways. And now you're going to start driving traffic to your YouTube channel, and you're going to start seeing that people are actually watching your videos. And how do you know they're watching your videos? Well, you can go back to your channel, your YouTube channel, and you'll look over here on the left and you'll see what's called analytics. And when you click on analytics, this is where you can go in and you're going to see what exactly is happening on your channel. So again, what I love about teaching these webinars with you guys is you will be able to, again, if you apply what I'm sharing with you, you can see in real time, real world results and what's happening. So this is a good example. You can see that in this case, this company had 2,731 views in the last 28 days. You can see the watch time and you can see the number of subscribers. And then back behind this panel, this is the overview page. You could click and go to the reach page, engagement page, audience page. Reach will show you how people are finding you. Engagement is showing what they're doing when they get to your channel. And then audience, you'll be learning a little bit about who's actually watching your videos. But what I love about this example here is that you'll see that it has this small number, 37 subscribers, right? That's relatively small. And I like that because here's the reality of YouTube. Don't get onto YouTube with super high expectations that you're going to have some viral hit and you're going to get millions of subscribers right away. That's just not how it works. It's very hard for that to happen. So, but what does happen and what does work, if you get consistent in posting really good quality videos, over time, what'll happen is when you post your first video, you're not going to get a million subscribers, but you may get 10. And then the next time you put out another video, now that grows to 15. And then the next time that grows to 23. And then what'll happen is you just want to see steady, consistent growth in subscribers, just, 5, 10 at a time. And then one day you're going to wake up and it'll be 100 subscribers. And one day it'll be 1,000. And one day, if you keep at it, it'll be 10,000 more. Okay. But if you do want to speed it up, if you do want to sort of hypercharge it, you can always promote your business with video and video ads. So let me talk to you a little bit about that because we're all familiar with the ads on YouTube. But you can go in just like those ads that you see. You can create those very same ads. You would go down here to youtube.com/ads. You'd create an ad account. And this is just like any other advertising on Google, whether it's on the search page or any of the websites. Basically, you're creating an ad in an ad campaign that you want your ad to show up on YouTube based on the words that people put in the search query for when they're looking for you. And so and especially if they're looking and it seems like they're ready to buy, right? They're doing some research on your product or service. You want to be the first video to show up. So it allows you to connect with the people that matter the most to you. Just like with all the other ads on Google, you don't pay when people watch this first part. You only pay when people actually watch your ad. So the skippable ads, anytime you skipped on that ad, that advertiser did not pay for the fact that you saw the first 5 or 6 seconds. Same thing with your ad. If they skip your ad, you don't pay, but they did see the first 5 or 6 seconds. So that's building up a little bit of brand equity, but they've got to watch it at least 30 seconds all the way through to the end before you pay. Okay. It's called pay-per-click advertising. And then again, you're going to be able to see in real time who's watching, how many people watch my ads, and you'll be able to track and see, are they actually following through with our calls to action. Very quickly, there's just several different formats for different attention spans when it comes to ads, sort of bite-sized snacks. These are 6 seconds or less. These are the bumper ads that we'll talk about in a second. Snacks are going to be 15 to 20 seconds, and then meals are going to be any sort of video or ads that are over 30 seconds. So the very quick 6-second ads, if you've ever seen these, they come, you can't skip them. They come on, they play, and they're over. These are called bumper ads. People always ask, do they work? And the answer is yes. 9 times out of 10, people will remember, they'll recall those ads. One of the companies that does a great job with this is Geico, right? You see them all the time. But they're really good with all their advertising, super consistent with the gecko and their messaging. The other type of ad are called true view ads. These are the ones that you can skip. So these are the ones that pop up, and then you can see the 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? And of course, most of the time, most of us are just watching that. We're ready to skip, right? But obviously it works. But here's sort of a tip for you. If you are going to run this type of ad, always have your logo and your brand up at the front. So even if they skip it, they see your brand, right? So you're building up that brand equity. Another tip that I would share with you is, again, with video ads, it's just like your normal videos that you're posting. It's a story. It's a mini story. So always launch in with that problem that you solve or that want, desire, need. And I would do it again immediately so that they get hooked before the 5 seconds. Now they want to learn more. And it could be you talking, and or I would even add visually the words, so people can see the words there, and they're going to be more likely to want to watch the rest of the ad. Whenever you run those true view ads, you're also going to get a companion banner, which is free. And that's going to show up at the top right of the YouTube page, so that even if they skip your ad and they're watching their video here in the middle, your logo will always be up there and they can click and go to your website. So that's again helping you with that brand recognition. So finally, I want to talk a little bit, everything up to this point is how you can shoot videos, post videos. But if you ever want to go live, let me talk a little bit about YouTube Live and how you would do that and why you might want to do that. So with YouTube Live, this allows you to basically reach and interact with your customers or prospects in real time, in the moment. And your stream, as you're doing it, can show up in YouTube search results. Why would you want to use YouTube Live, and what are some really good examples? One, live events. If any of you guys do actual in-person events, go ahead, set it up where you're recording it so that you can post it live, and that's going to get more eyeballs on what it is your actual event is. And people that couldn't be in the room, now they're learning about whatever the product or service or the purpose of the video is. Expert interviews is another great use of this. Expert interviews, if you can find experts in your field or a relatable field, it positions you as an expert because you're the guy or gal interviewing them, or the person. And the other thing that does is now you're going to be bringing along all the followers, the people that follow that expert. Now they're learning about you, and now you're going to have a chance to introduce yourself and get them to become subscribers to your own channel. Q&A, frequently asked questions. These are really good sessions. So again, one really good use of this is if you can find out a way to tie in your product or service with current events, that's really a great way to use YouTube Live. So something that's happening in the news today, like and I'm just thinking off the top of my head, when, let's say, Queen Elizabeth died, right? It could be, talking about, maybe you're tourism or travel or tourism, and maybe you're talking about, hey, we're going to have a special YouTube Live next week where I'm going to answer your questions about anything and everything you ever wanted to know about the life of Queen Elizabeth and the places you can go visit if you want to see kind of, the main points of her life, including all those great episodes from The Crown or something like that, right? But that's like really interesting, right? And it's in the news cycle, in the moment. And if your product or service, finding a way to tie that in, that's a great way to do it. And of course, any sort of product demonstrations, unboxing, any of that can help as well. So how do you get started with YouTube? Number one thing to know about our YouTube Live. YouTube Live is you can do it from your laptop or your computer. You need to have 1,000 subscribers before you can do it on your phone. So it will take a while, but you can always do it on your laptop and your desktop. The other thing is the first time you're going to do it, the first time you're going to go live, you can't, it's going to take, YouTube needs to verify that you're a real business and all of that. So the first time you do it, there's a 24-hour waiting period. After that, you're verified, you can just do it immediately. So the way you get started is you go to studio.youtube.com. Going to come up here to the top right. You'll see this little icon here. This is the go live icon. You click on that. And then again, you'll follow those steps to verify your account and set it up. Wait for 24 hours, then you're going to be ready to go. And at that point, from that moment on, whenever you're ready to go live, you just click the icon, click go live, and then you smile for the camera and you're ready to go. Now, when you're going live, you can schedule it or you can go live in the moment. I like scheduling it, honestly, because that way you can promote it. Say next Friday at noon, we're going to go live and talk about this subject. By the way, submit your questions this week and I'll answer all of your questions at that time. So it's a way to promote it. You're going to want to, just like with your videos, think about what is a really good title for your video. Schedule it for later or you'll go live. You'll have the opportunity to write a description. Again, think about the description because people can be searching and they can find your YouTube live in that moment. And then same thing, questions, is it for kids or not? And then when you're ready to go, you'd hit next and you can smile and it'll take a little picture of your thumbnail and you're ready to go. Okay. So some checklists that are going to be helpful pre, during, and post your live event. Number one, just like if you were going to have a live event, right? You want to test everything, make sure everything's working properly. Again, schedule your live stream so that you can promote it. Provide that really good description. Choose or make sure your thumbnail image is really nice and clean, pops off the page. Announce and gather audience questions. Again, that's a great way to get people tuned in. So now they're interested. Now they want to hear what you have to say. And then when you're live, make sure you feature your event on your channel. Just like the other videos, you want a very clear beginning, middle, and end. You want to kind of script and know exactly how you're going to kick it off with the opening remarks and exactly how you're going to close it. And make sure you stay on track. You talk about only what you were going to talk about. Don't meander or ramble. Keep it relatively short if you can. Depending on what you're talking about, answer the questions, and then you can create highlight clips while you're live. And then once it's done, don't forget about it. Don't think about your live stream as something separate from all your other video. You've got a great video. You've got great content. So you're going to want to publish a live stream archive to your channel. You can create an archive playlist. We talked about that. And then you can direct people and audience to your archives after the show is over. All right. So covered a lot of ground. I'm going to get to your questions here in just a second. Don't forget, type in your questions. But your next steps as we sort of wrap this up is to go create your channel. It's only going to take, it doesn't take that long. If you have your images ready to go, think through the description. You can knock this out in 30 minutes to an hour. Then go and follow those tips that I shared, especially the script. Think about the very clear beginning. Start with the problem. The middle, offer the solution, and always have a call to action at the end. And then think about the sight, the sound, the lighting, everything, those tips there, and then post it. And then these are some of those additional resources that I shared with you that I think are going to be really helpful. A lot of times people will ask, well, what type of app should I use, and lighting and all that sort of stuff. All that's going to be found here. Lots of great content. We have a Creator Academy. If you go to creatoracademy.youtube.com, you can go here and lots of great tips on everything from content strategy, production, tips on production. How do you get started if you want to know how to make money with YouTube? And they even have a quick start guide that will cover a lot of what I just talked about. But a lot of great information here. Again, go play around, dig around, do your research, and you're going to have lots of great tips in here. The other thing that I love to share is that you know, a lot of times it helps me not just to hear about this, but to see someone actually do it that I can follow along. And so we have a whole bunch, if you go to YouTube, we have a whole bunch of quick help videos that you can go to. These are very short, very proactive and fun. You can even see we've got how to create a YouTube channel for my business. So you'll see somebody following through and doing everything that I just shared with you, as you know, when we were talking about creating that channel from scratch. And then finally, a couple of great resources here for you. Our support page is always really good. It's not like most support pages. If you go bookmark this support.google.com, this link and this bookmark, and this is really good because you just type in whatever your question is, especially if it's complicated or technical, type it in and they'll give you the answers to it. This is that link as a way of saying thank you for free Google matching ad credit. So the way this works is if you have an ad account or you go create one, it's all free. You would come back here to this link and follow the steps, and they change the amount all the time. But let's say you decided you were going to spend $100 on an ad campaign. Well, they may have $100 that they'll match it. So now you have a $200 ad campaign. So that's sort of how that works. And I always love to hear success stories. So if you guys ever have any success with YouTube or anything, I'd love to hear it, share it with me, and we share it with our marketing team. And you might show up in a Google commercial. You never know. We always love to highlight real life small businesses. Or if you want recommendations of maybe somebody that can help you with this, I can pass along those recommendations as well. But I'm a big fan of using SCORE. So a lot of the mentors there are savvy in this area. So definitely make sure that you check them out as well. So with that, I'm going to jump in and go to the questions here. So if you have any questions, I'm jumping into questions here. Let's see. The first one is from Beth. Videos on your website, is that the same thing as vlogs on your website? If a website blog only contains videos? Yeah, so vlogs are obviously video blogs, so you could have that. And then videos on your website. So for example, you could have a how-to video that's actually on your website, and it basically is the same thing. Stacy is asking, can I use my favorite music to a YouTube video that I create? Now, you have to be careful about using copyrighted music. So you would want to use, and that's a good one to go to, the YouTube, the Creator Academy, and they'll talk to you a little bit about that. But you want to be careful about not using copyrighted music. It's like not using copyrighted images. And then, what should be the average length of the video? So that's a good question. And it really depends on the purpose of the video. You know, a lot of people don't have really big, long attention spans, right? So I would say most of the time it's going to be about 2 or 3 minutes. But again, if it's a how-to video and you're showing somebody how to do something and it takes longer than that, or it's something really in depth, it could be longer. But a lot of times I think 2 to 3 minutes, especially as you're just getting started, are good links for videos. Marion, yes, you will get a copy of this presentation and a recording. So Lori's going to send that to you. And then Shauna, for channel creators who are just starting out, what is the minimum frequency that you recommend to post a video on YouTube? Also, do you have stats on video links? You know what? I will see if we can look up some stats. Don't really have any stats off the top of my head on the video link. Again, a lot of times that depends on, again, industry, purpose of the video, product or service will depend on the length of the video. As far as minimum frequency, you know, I would do, especially if you're just starting out, it's not as much the frequency as it is consistency. You know, one of the things that I share a lot of times is that consistency equals competency online. So it's just, if you're going to do it, you know, and you make the commitment that you're going to do a video a week, which I think is a good starting point, then stick with it. Do a video a week. Don't just do a video a week, or even do 2 or 3 videos in 1 week, and then you don't do anything for 2 or 3 months, and then you come back. Steady consistency equals competency. And so that's really more important. But I think a good place to start would be 1 a week. And then Kim talking about how do you make money after growing a following from YouTube, money paid by YouTube. So a lot of information there. That's going to be in that Creator Academy. You can go there and find out how you can make money on YouTube, but lots of different opportunities, especially through ads. and being able to have ads from other companies that are showing up when people are watching your videos. So that's the biggest way that people make money from that. And obviously, because think about it, you're just like a channel. So think about TV stations, right? TV channel stations. The more viewers that they have, the more they can charge for advertising. So the same thing, the more subscribers you have, the more money you would be able to make. Let's see, YouTube channel, review, provide feedback. I don't know that I have necessarily the time to do that, but I could definitely, if you send me your YouTube channel, I can, or send me an email, I can share somebody that might be very helpful with that can do that for you. Let's see. What days and times are best to post when most people are on YouTube? Kim, that's another great question. And that's one where, again, I would go Google that, because that is it's hard to answer that because it depends on, again, your product and service and who your audience is. Sometimes your audience or your customers are going to be on YouTube. They're only on YouTube after hours, right? When they're not working. Others may be on YouTube during the work week or regular hours. Some are weekdays, some are weekends. And so it really does depend on who your actual customer audience is. And so what I would do, just like when people ask, the other thing that people ask a lot is like, what are the apps I should use and all that? I would go to Google, Google what you're looking for. So look for best days and times to post on YouTube for and whoever your customer is or whatever your product or service is. And then go and look at like 3 or 4 different articles and see if you start seeing a trend. And same thing if you're looking for best apps and all that, look for review sites that are talking about the best editing apps. And then you'll start seeing the same brands or the same tools coming out again and again. And then Lauren's asking, let's see already, but how do I access the recording afterwards? Oh, missed the beginning. So Lauren, Lori's going to send you guys a copy of the recording and also the slides here. So you'll get that if you missed the beginning. All right, that's our questions. I'm going to jump into the chat. We may have some stuff here in the chat as well. Let's see. Yes, so we'll provide. So she the new website she's changed that description, but you want to copy the one that I mentioned. So yeah, we'll send you, when you get a copy of this presentation, you'll see the old script. Yep, perfect. Yep, and some of these have already been answered. And then for those of you asking about different, what are some of the different tools? Again, that's where the Creator Academy is going to be really helpful for you. Let's see, I think we've got all this answered. Do you suggest a person cross-reference several different business ventures? I'm not sure what you're asking, but do you suggest a person cross-reference several different business ventures? I would say yes. So like as with anything, when you're doing your research, and maybe this is answering it, what I mentioned a minute or so ago, whenever you're looking for anything, Google it, right? And start looking at 3 or 4 different sources that you find. And then you'll start seeing, if you're trying to do research on a business or on a product or on anything like that, you'll start seeing the same names that maybe show up in the top 3, top 5, and then that's pretty consistent. You'll know kind of the businesses that you want to focus on. No, Irene's asking, do you have to announce how often you're going to be posting videos? You do not need to do that. You do not need to do that. That's helpful, but again, only if you're consistent in your posting and you do what you say you're going to do. And then do you recommend developing an editorial calendar for your YouTube channel? Yeah, that's great. That's a great best practice for any of your marketing, is really sitting down and thinking throughout the year, what is going to be your content, getting it on your calendar. When are you going to do it? An editorial calendar, instead of just thinking and rushing and trying to just wing it, helps you really think about, okay, seasonally, what's happening, maybe what's happening with your product or service, and then coming up with that editorial calendar, putting it down is definitely a great best practice. So great. Well, guys, these are great questions. Lori, I'm going to turn it back over to you to close this out.
Okay.
And
Demming,
thanks for joining us.
And thank you, Demming, for another great workshop. And just a reminder, on our workshop calendar on our website, there are 2 additional Grow with Google workshops, one in November and one in December, to wrap up this series. So just make sure that you register for those as well. And just a little bit more information on SCORE. As far, if you are in need of a mentor, if you have questions on your small business, feel free to reach out, go to our website and sign up. You will get personal, confidential, one-on-one expertise from our volunteers, and it's absolutely free to you. So please take a look at that. And our website is located on the slide. So, and this will again be provided to you at the end of the workshop. Also, we are always looking for volunteers. We have more than 10,000 volunteers across 270 chapters in the nation, and always in need of volunteers. So you can see on this slide just some of the areas that that we're in need. So if you are interested, again, visit our website and sign up to be a volunteer. Okay, and then these are just our social media channels where you can find us, and this again will be provided. So I will go ahead and wrap it up. I know we're a little over, but Demming, again, excellent workshop, and I know everyone feels the same. There were a lot of questions, and this will be provided to you, and it will also be on our YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and listen to it again, you can find it on our YouTube channel. So Demming, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for participating today, and have a great day.
Thank you, Lori. Everybody have a great one. Bye-bye.
Thank you.